Talking all things Tapper sports, you're listening to Redzone on Revolution 91.7.
Let that one slide a little bit longer than usual.
Ooh, the jams.
Yeah. It's grooving us here into the back half of the hour here on Redzone on Revolution 91.7. Josh, Holland, Jeff Lightsy, Billy Rutledge here on the show. Just got done talking a lot of spring football, previewing what is to come. But guys, there's some stuff happening right now for teams on the Hill. Baseball up 7-3 against a number 3 ranked team in the nation in Louisville.
A top 5
and
team?
Another top 5 team. Really they played Vandy, number 1 in the nation earlier this season. And this team has 10 wins over top 25 ranked teams in the past 5 years. It's a team that has been marred by inconsistency.
So inconsistent.
But the team, if you give them one game,
they can ball.
They can play
really
they can
well.
Play up to competition or down to competition.
And it's weird because it's not really like the softball team where okay, I'd throw Miranda Kramer against any team. That's not how midweek baseball works. No. Because when you're playing your number 5 teams in the nation, those are midweek games and you're throwing, it's called a scheduled staff day. So you're throwing 2 innings from Bartley, 2 innings from Logan Wines, Kevin Elder in there, and it's like 5 different pitchers. It's not like you have one guy throwing 8 innings of 2-hit ball.
And now the closer, Ben Morrison, on the mound trying to close out the game. Final 3 outs on the line.
And Ben Morrison is a stud.
Oh, yeah.
He's different than
Ian
WKU
Tompkins
has had because Ian Tompkins, Matt Myers used to talk about how watching that guy was just made his heart race because he would paint the outside and then he'd throw 3 balls. It'd be a 3-1 count. He'd strike the guy out. Next time on, he'd walk 2 batters in a row, strike 2 out. Ben Morrison is business. Not that Ian Tompkins wasn't a good closer, but Ben Morrison is going to make you hit it. He's going to throw in the strike zone.
Tompkins would like to make it close every single time. It always seems like the bases were loaded or at least somebody was on when the game was starting to go down the line.
Well, one of the things that helps when you're pitching is a guy that can dig a ball out at first base, especially if you're a third baseman making that throw from the hot corner. And Billy, that same guy at first base in Ryan Church had a heck of a weekend, including a 6-for-6 performance on Sunday against FIU and 17-2. And you had a chance earlier this week to sit down with him.
Yeah, I got to sit down with him. I actually know him from last year when I was the beat writer for the baseball team, so we already had somewhat of a relationship, and it was an awesome talk. He was riding a high. He was 6-for-6, and he's just been playing really well. The WKU baseball team is going into what Coach Meyer said at his press conference, probably the most important week on the schedule that he's been here. At his time at Western Kentucky, they play Louisville, and then they play number 18 Rice at home. So there's just a lot of anticipation, a lot of hype with this WKU baseball team right now, and Ryan Church is embodying that. And so now we're going to air the interview that I had earlier with him. Billy Rutledge here. We're getting a first-hand take with Ryan Church on the baseball team, senior first baseman, and Ryan really had a big weekend this weekend, capping off with a 17-2 win on Sunday at FIU, the series clincher, your 4th Conference USA Series victory this season. The team's got to be feeling pretty confident after that last game.
Yeah, I think it was just a whole week. 4-1 through a week, and we thought we're some tough opponents going down to Miami, going into Lexington, playing Kentucky, and having Murray here. I thought the whole week was set up maybe for not to succeed, and I thought that coming out 4-1 was good for us and good to maybe get going because we got a couple tough ones coming up in this next couple weeks, so it's good to get that one behind us.
Yeah, not to mention you had a pretty good day yourself Sunday. You were 6-for-6 at the plate, a solo home run, 3-run double, and a career-high 5 RBIs. I mean, did you eat your Wheaties that morning, or were you just seeing things at the plate pretty well?
Sometimes. I've never had six hits, but sometimes you just see it differently. And that day, I got some lucky knocks, and I saw it really well. So, because I don't know, 6 hits is pretty incredible. And but it was better that we got the win on Sunday, helped the team out a little bit, and it's good to maybe improve myself statistically, but definitely get that W on that Sunday.
Was that one of the first times you've ever run ruled a team in college? Because I know the game was called after the 7th inning, and you guys were up 17-2.
I know in junior college, we definitely run ruled a couple teams, but I think that's our first here as long as I've been here, and because I know you only can do it on Sundays, and it's pretty tough to run roll a team, Division I baseball team in 7 innings, but it was good to do that.
Yeah, the team starting to click on all cylinders now, and one player that really having himself a season is Anderson Miller. He leads Conference USA in several different statistical categories, and he just won his second CUSA Hitter of the Week. I mean, what can teams do to stop this man? It just seems like he is just leading this team to some great heights right now.
Yeah, he's incredible. I know everybody always says it about the good ones. They get there first, leave last, but that's the truth with him. He lifts by himself when there's nobody around. He goes in with D Hall 3 or 4 times a week when everybody else only lifts twice. He's always in the cages. I have so much respect for that kid, and so much respect for what he's doing for this team, and how much he's helping us. And it's pretty cool to see somebody's work pay off, because I mean, we were here in the fall and saw how much he was putting in, and it's good that he's having the year he is, because holy crap, nobody else deserves it the way he does, the way he works. He just definitely deserves it. But his numbers right now are incredible, absolutely incredible. I was actually looking at him today and in the conference, and it's just, I mean, everywhere you look, doesn't matter the statistic, he's up there. I mean, the only thing he's maybe not up there in is innings pitched, but that's coach's decision and stuff. So he's pretty incredible human being, and pretty incredible athlete.
Now, Anderson and you were on the same team last year. It was your first season on the team, and now in your last season as a senior, there was a lot of departures from last year. Scott Wilcox, kind of the Iron Man of this team, departed, and a lot of top arms. What are you seeing out of this year's team that's maybe a little bit different from last year's and allowing you to find success midway through the season?
I think this team is different in the sake of we started off cold, and I feel like we're starting now to click. And last year was different. Last year we started off 10-5. RPI was up there, and everybody's excited, and then before you know it, we get swept, and we're dropping games we shouldn't. And at this point of the year last year, we didn't have the confidence we have now, and right now I feel like this team, the 2015 team's in a good mentally in a good state, and very confident in what we're doing right now. So it's different in that sense, and it's pretty cool because we don't have the Justin Hagman throwing 8 innings every Friday night. It's more of a bullpen and team oriented wins these days. Well, outside of what Anderson's doing. But I mean, to have Justin do what he did last year is a little bit different than what we're doing this year, when Friday nights are switching up and Saturdays are switching up, and I feel like it's a little different in that sake. But it's pretty cool because it feels like we're winning games more team-wise this year.
And team-wise, has your role changed this season, kind of being your last season on the Hill? Are you taking on maybe more of a mentor role and kind of embracing some of the younger guys?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I'd like to think I definitely help out some guys. I know Hunter Wood and Harrison Scanlon both come back me up sort of at first base. So they're always over there, and they're always asking questions offensively and defensively. And I like to take on that role, and I feel like my role's changed a little bit because I'm a senior. I feel like you're whether you want it or not, you're gonna have a leadership role, and I think it's changed that sake. And I've got to sort of look at myself in the mirror sometimes and know that the younger guys are looking at me to see what's right and what's wrong, and it's really changed me and made me a better player, in my opinion.
Right now we're talking with senior first baseman on the WKU baseball team, Ryan Church. And Ryan, the schedule only gets tougher from here. This week, I know Wednesday you're playing against one of the top 5 teams in the nation, Louisville, and then a weekend series versus number 16, Rice. Do you feel this team has the pieces to compete against some of these top-tier teams and get the W's?
Yeah, sometimes I think we match up better with the better teams because, I mean, when we have maybe not as good of teams come in, we play down to their level, and then when we play good teams, we play up. So I don't think it matters anybody in this nation who comes in here or we go there. I don't think it matters. We can play with anybody in the nation. We've showed that if we play our game, we can go 4-0 this week. If we don't play our game, we can go 0-4 this week, and that's any opponent on the other side. It doesn't matter who it is. Everybody on our schedule is good, so it doesn't matter. If we play our game, we'll be where we want to be at the end of the week.
The team maybe has a bit of a swagger when they play some of the bigger teams, especially when they're coming into Nick Dennis Field, your home field that you're going to have to protect this weekend.
Yeah, actually, we've been better on the road, I feel like, this year, and it's a little different from last year because last year pretty solid at home, and we got to find a way to make it a home field advantage again. Get in here and take some games from. I'm sort of sick and tired of people coming in here and walking on us on this field, because I know last year was not like that. I don't know what our record was last year, but this year it's not good at all. If you take out the SIU sweep early in the year, it's terrible. So I think we need to find a way to get our swagger on this field, because we have it on the road. We're playing with everybody on the road, but people are coming in here and walking all over us, and we need to do something about it this weekend.
And this week, as you play Louisville, the final in-state team, I believe, this season, and talking to the guys, and they seem like they really want to win this one. They want to sweep the in-state series, beating Murray and Kentucky twice earlier. How much does it mean to you to get something like that, like an in-state sweep, into this team?
I mean, personally, I'm not from Kentucky, so I personally don't care. If you're on the other side of the field, I want to beat you. It doesn't matter where you're from or where we're playing or whatever. Now, for some of the guys in there, I know they got some friends and stuff on Louisville, and they want to beat them. But, I mean, I don't think it matters. Rice coming in is just as important, and whoever else. I fought you last week and was just as important. So it doesn't matter who we're playing. We just got to play our game, and we'll be fine, and we'll walk out of there happy.
Ryan, one more question before we let you go is, the expectations of this team always every year seems to win a conference championship and getting farther in baseball. Do you feel like this team has the pieces this year to do that? What are your expectations going in to a pretty difficult back stretch of a schedule, and then a more difficult schedule with Conference USA in the first year?
Yeah, I think that's the goal. I mean, we've put ourselves in a little bit of a tough situation now. I think we're 7 games out of maybe 6 games out of first or whatever it is. But we do have the top 3 teams on our schedule. And I think we just want to play our game. It's simple as that. I mean, we've showed that when we play our game, we win. When we don't, we don't. And as long as we keep this mojo going, this 4-1 week, we keep this for the rest of the year, we're gonna be playing in a regional, and that's really all it comes down to. And if we don't, then we're gonna be watching a regional at home. And if that means win the conference tournament or not, I don't really care. Or win the conference, I don't really care. I just want to be in playoff baseball, and that's all that matters to me.
Well, thanks, Ryan, for taking some time to talk to the Red Zone. And that is senior first baseman Ryan Church on the WKU baseball team. A tough schedule coming up this week with the weekend series at Rice at home, number 17 team in the nation. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
That was Ryan Church, senior first baseman for the Hilltopper baseball team, and it's a guy that came in with a lot of expectations. You use that word a lot today in that interview, Billy. Expectations. I mean, he was a monster last year, home run wise. He filled right in for Ryan Huck, who left the team 2 years ago. And this year, it's not been Ryan Church's team offensively. It's been Anderson Miller. It's been Danny Hudzina. Right now, Cody Wofford's on a hot streak. So to see that guy that really, you ask pretty much anyone on the team who the vocal leader, who the charisma comes from, it's Ryan Church. So to see that guy get 6 for 6 is something I'm sure that Matt Myers was happy about. Something I'm sure that Ryan Church was happy about.
Yeah, and he came in as a JUCO transfer from Florida and immediately filled that 4 spot. And he immediately became the cleanup hitter and found some immediate success. So when he struggled a little bit this beginning of the season, I think maybe I'm going to use this term for the lack of a better word, humbled himself a little bit. And he really had to get back into the grind of baseball. And now he's finally trying to find that swing once again. And now if Church can find that, along with Anderson Miller, the season he's been able to play, and some of these newer guys on the team that have been contributing, the WKU baseball team can be a force to be reckoned with.
One thing I liked hearing from Ryan Church during the interview is that the inconsistent play is bothering him. He said in that interview that he wants to win at home more. He feels that his team is capable, and after beating number 3 in the country, Louisville, tonight, that they are capable of beating every team that's on the schedule. I mean, realistically, are they going to win every single game? No, but they're capable of playing better games than some of the games we've seen the WKU baseball team have. So, and with wins over number 3 Louisville, and over Kentucky, and over, having the season sweep over teams in state and some of the top ranked teams in the nation, he's correct. I mean, they can beat these teams. They're better than the 21-17 record. I mean, they're a really good team, but they play better when they play better teams, and he wants to see more consistency throughout the team and throughout the schedule and have better wins than what they've accomplished so far.
The phrase "we can beat anybody," it always comes with like a down note for me, because usually that phrase is followed by like an understood, but we can't beat everybody.
Yeah.
Because we can beat anybody, but I mean, we're going to have like 4 or 5
We
or
got
6
a lot of games,
off
Coach.
series. like, we can beat anybody, but we're probably going to have, 3 series where we just lay an egg that we shouldn't. And so, can they get rid of that mentality? Because the reality is, if they continue this hot streak and finish in the top half of Conference USA, they're not playing Rice in the first round of the Conference USA tournament, which means they're not going to be playing that anybody that they can beat. They're going to be playing one of those everybody's that they seem to have trouble with.
Yeah.
Right? And so if they can't shake this mentality, and it seems like they have because they beat Murray State, definitely not as handily as Myers would have wanted to, but they beat Murray State, then they beat UK, and then they handle business other than one game in Florida. And so, can they maintain that consistency? Because you have to win a lot of games in a short amount of days to be good in the postseason.
That's the golden question with this baseball team. It seems like we ask this every single year with Matt Myers. It just seems like a 500 ball club, and they play up to expectations and play up and down. And it's a very weird cycle, and I think it has a lot to do with baseball, the sport, and when they can get hot. If they can get hot later in the year, I know they struggled at first. It's something that Ryan touched on in the interview. Is at the beginning of last season they were kind of RPI ranked, and they had a lot of momentum to start the season. But this year is a little bit different. They struggled early, and they didn't have that hype. So if they can build a little bit of humbleness from that, find a little mid-stride hot streak, what they've been able to do right now, beating the number 3 team in the country tonight.
Baseball's such a weird sport.
It really is.
3 weeks ago we're talking about WKU getting beaten 20-1 against Louisiana Tech. Then last weekend on a Sunday they beat someone 17-2 in a run rule, and then they beat the number 3 team in the nation.
Louisville, the number 3 team.
And
in the country.
It wouldn't surprise me if they won the series against Rice or if they lost all 3. Because if you're surprised by anything in baseball, then you haven't watched enough baseball.
And that's what he said. He said that. He said during the stretch we can go 4-0 or we can go over 4. It's basically how bad do they want it? How good? Are they going to play up to the level of competition, or are they going to lay an egg? And it seems like they're playing pretty well going up to Louisville, getting a 7-3 victory.
Church said he's pissed off that teams just come into the nick and they're able to beat the Hilltoppers so easily. I don't think you want to get that man pissed off. I think he could do a heck of damage if you get that man pissed off. I think he's playing a little bit pissed off right now. 6 for 6. The great night that he had so far, it was registered as an error, but it could have been a triple in the first inning of the Louisville game, and then in the 4th or the 5th, he had an RBI double. This guy's playing a little pissed off right now, and this WKU baseball team is doing well.
Well, they need to tick someone off on the pitching staff. And there's been so many good games where, John Harmon and Kevin Elder combined for a one-hitter a couple weeks ago. You've seen,
Ryan Thurston.
Ryan Thurston there. You see where I'm at. You see Ryan Thurston almost had a no-hitter earlier this season. There's some guys in here that can pitch, but you can't give up a 17-run or 21-run game. You can lose some games 8-7. You're going to lose games 8-7 in baseball because that's how baseball works. But if this pitching staff can become more consistent, and it's been shuffled around so much, the 3 weekend starters at the beginning of the year, I think one's left. John Harmon has moved to the bullpen mostly. Austin King's been flip-flopping. I think Austin Wine started the scheduled staff day last Sunday. Bartley's been moved to the bullpen, except for tonight he starts on another staff day. So it just seems like maybe they have one starter that they're pretty set on, 2 that are almost starters, and then 3 guys that can throw you 3 innings at the beginning of a game.
And that's the opposite of last year.
Right.
Last year there was 3 starters, and you knew what you're going to get every 3 starts. Maybe it wasn't the best or the worst performance from the guys, but you had your 3 weekend starters, and then the offense was able to be focused on the defense that Western was so good at last year with Scott Wilcox and Cody Wofford at second and short. They were able to shine there. So a little bit some consistency from the pitching mound is something that's going to need to be found for playoff baseball for WKU.
There is another team on campus that is not searching for consistency from a pitcher.
Miranda Kramer?
Is
she the team?
Put in whatever hip young word you've got for cool these days here on a college campus, and that's what Miranda Kramer is in the circle. She's ridiculous. She ranks in the top 5 in the NCAA, top 3, I think, in 5 different categories, including strikeouts per 7.
Wow.
13.7 strikeouts per 7 innings.
That's incredible.
That's okay.
She had 13 in the first 5 innings today.
The
girl's
7
ridiculous.
innings is what, 21 outs?
Yeah.
And she gets 13 strikeouts?
14, basically.
14.
What did she have, 10 of 12 to start the game against Kentucky today?
The girl's ridiculous. And she proved tonight, now softball team fell 1-0 in the bottom of the 9th.
On an error.
At a top 20 on an air at a top 25 team in the University of Kentucky. You talk about a team that can play with anybody. In softball, when you have a pitcher,
dominant pitcher,
especially with the fact that you could play a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and in softball, she can pitch all 3 of those games.
All 3.
When you have a pitcher like Miranda Kramer, you can beat anybody. Now, the offense has got to score more than 0 runs. That's a given. But it is not out of the question for this team led by one of the more dominant pitchers in the nation to win the conference tournament, to win a super regional, and then to take it to the regional where they face off against a nationally prominent team.
And I know we compare baseball and softball a lot, but softball is a much different sport because of that aspect. Because they have a dominant pitcher like Miranda Kramer, it's almost like an NFL football team where if you have a great quarterback, it seems like you're never out of the game. And that's what kind of Miranda Kramer brings to this WK
right, because even if
team.
you have the best, pitcher in the nation, he's gone once every 4 days if you're risky. Miranda Kramer can pitch 3 in a weekend.
And so it just gives the softball team a different aspect and a little bit more energy. It just seems like there's going to be a few more people at the stands. You know, there's going to be a few more people wanting to see this great dominant pitcher, and that's what you love to see as we talking about Western sports is success for them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you have a softball pitcher that can, 14 strikeouts every 21 batters, I mean, that's pretty incredible. And also, she's coming in, she's dominating, and things like you said, she can carry a team as long as they can put up the runs, she's gonna get the outs. I mean, she's gonna hold the opposing team to a pretty low amount of runs.
Was it a no-hitter until the bottom of the 8th?
Until the bottom of the 8th.
Tonight?
So, yeah, I mean, you have a dominant softball pitcher. It can carry you a long way. Unlike a baseball team where you said, like, a pitcher can only go once every 4 or 5 days. So
right. And it gives a lot to the team statistically. It does. It helps them win games on the field. But also something that is hard to quantify unless you look at, attendance numbers is what it means to the program as far as a viewpoint, because it gives the softball program a point of reference nationally. And, in sports like softball or soccer, these sports that aren't, consistently popular, and people are going to show up to football. Definitely. People are going to show up and watch a football game. People are going to show up and watch a basketball game because they like those sports. I mean, I'll watch a bad basketball game on TV. But you're hard pressed to find people that'll watch a bad softball game. But if you've got a girl that's going to throw 14 strikeouts a game, I'm watching that game.
My viewpoint on softball is, especially getting to the next level, I think the biggest goal is the national team. It seems like with softball, softball that I would watch on TV or something a casual fan would flip on would be a USA team trying in the Olympics.
Well, you can get behind the flag.
Right, exactly. And so I think Miranda Kramer, I don't want to say that she's going to be put on the Olympic squad right now, but I'm just saying the quality of play that she's showing is somebody that could eventually progress to that level. And when fans can relate to that level and maybe somebody that they know or possibly from somebody close to them elevate to that level, it just brings another added interest to it.
It'll definitely bring more interest to the fan, a casual fan who doesn't really care about softball, someone that you see, hey, this girl from little old Bowling Green, little Western Kentucky made the National Olympic team for softball. It allows you to pay more attention. Like, maybe we should check them out. Maybe we should give them a look and see if they're how good she really is and also how good this team can really be. So her being that dominant will bring a national prominence towards the city of Bowling Green in Western Kentucky.
And this team already has someone on a national team. That's Larissa Franklin. She's going to be playing for the Canadian national team her second time, and she did really, really well the first time. This team is not just Miranda Kramer, though, because Janice Sheff, Hannah Parker have also pitched pretty well, and this team is on pace to set a record for winning percentage in a season. Now, it would be hard-pressed for them to set a record for most wins because of the fact that they've had 16 games snowed or rained out.
What was it? Wow. Some of the teams that didn't have enough players
Tennessee
to play
State
them?
was twice in 2 weeks canceled because of injury, and they couldn't field the team.
Right. I think they're just afraid of the Kramer.
of Kramer?
Yeah.
I don't know if
Definitely.
I don't know if Division I sports...
Well, they played 3 games before Western, forfeited to Western, and then 3 games after Western. Was it something like that? I know it was something.
I didn't
incredible.
see that.
It was something incredible. Like I thought they had played games, fielded a team to play games. Then when it came to WKU, they weren't able to field a team, and then played games after the WKU.
Todd Stewart just tweeted Kramer had 18 strikeouts, most ever by a UK opponent.
Wow,
that's a quite impressive feat.
Out of 21 batters,
27 outs.
18 strikeouts.
18 strikeouts.
Wow.
1 hit and 1 error. So out of, 25?
I mean, you could just, all those at-bats, they're not even getting any contact on that? Is her ball deception that good? Is it just that fast?
You have foul tips. Well, I mean, in softball, if you've got a good rise ball pitcher, just the physics of trying to swing up, you can make people look silly. And Miranda Kramer's really good, and she's leading a team that has a chance to set the record, like I said, for winning percentage in a season. Right now they're at 77% winning percentage. The school record is 70.
Yeah,
right now they're beating the school winning percentage by almost 10%.
I think they're going to get it.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I think
they're okay at softball, and it's second year under Amy Tudor. She's really good at recruiting. I know we say this a lot. We talked about it with George Fant and TJ Price, and then Chastity Gooch and them. It'll be interesting to see what Tudor does without Kramer. I know we're still in the middle of the season, but this girl is so good that it almost makes you think, well, what does the coach do without her? Yeah. And so that you won't have to find that out anytime recently, but the girl's making such a huge impact. Can she find another Miranda Kramer?
I'm actually a little surprised they're doing this well this season because they had it seems like softball is usually a pretty good sport here at Western, and last year they had a pretty good team. I can't name too many specifics on the team, but I mean, it seemed like they were winning around 70% of the games.
Yeah, well, Emily Rousseau was pretty good in this. She wasn't Miranda Kramer dominant, but she was really, really good, and she graduated off that team.
Right.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the Red Zone here tonight. We just finished up with some softball, which is unusual, but it's unusual that a girl is as good at pitching nationally as Miranda Kramer is. She leads the nation in so many categories. Baseball beats number 3 ranked Louisville. They're 4-0 against in-state opponents. This first win against a top 5 team since 2 years ago. Really, really good from the WKU baseball team. They'll play top 16 team in Rice this weekend. 3 games at the Knicks, 6 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. And then spring football, they'll get back up and underway in August with their first game against Vanderbilt. You listen to the Red Zone with Jeff Lightsy, Billy Rutledge, and Josh Holland. We'll see you next Wednesday.